Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Mark and Mitch Show. I'm Mark Striegel, Mitch Lafon. Mitch, how are you?
Good, good. Doing great, actually. It's been a fabulous week for me.
Good, good. And we are here to talk about Motörhead. Now, there's been some Motörhead news. Sadly, we lost Fast Eddie Clarke this past week, and he was such a vital part of the early Motörhead records. And wow, all three of those guys, all three of the original Motörhead, what do they call them? The three amigos, gone
Yeah.
now. That's
The
crazy.
the sort of ace of spades lineup is completely gone. I mean,
Yes.
it's unbelievable to think that and especially as I get older and I start seeing people dropping off in their 60s, you go, "Oh wow. Am I down
Right.
to my last 10 years?" But it's terrible. I mean, you want your heroes to be with you your entire lives and think that they'll always be there for you. And
Right.
now this classic album made by a classic lineup just is it's over. And it's the saddest thing. Really is the saddest thing.
Yeah, and it's those three guys. Lemmy went on with the band, as we
Hmm.
all know, for a long time. It became a four-piece for a while after that, and then it was back to a three-piece with Phil Campbell on guitar. But he never really was able to live down what those three guys did. Phil Taylor on the drums and Fast Eddie Clarke on the guitar, and Lemmy, of course, on bass and vocals. The output that those three guys had as a unit, to me, there was just nothing that could touch it. And after reading Lemmy's book, which was called White Line Fever, it was published in 2002, but I recently read it, and he appreciated that stuff and recognized it as great that the three of them had done. But then again, he always felt like people focused in on that, and he hated it when people would come up and go, "Oh, Ace of Spades, that was a great record," because he was like, "Yeah, well, I've done 30 other records too, and there's some great stuff on that."
But
Thoughts
but
on that?
but isn't that sort of the catch 22 with all bands? I mean, Kiss has
Right.
done what 28 records. 23 of them have been with new lineups essentially, and it's always, well, you played with Ace Frehley in 1976, and it just that kind of just stays with you, right?
It's true.
That original chemistry of any band is really hard to duplicate and mimic,
Yeah.
and fans fall in love with an original chemistry and an original lineup, and it's hard to let go.
Yeah.
And of course, Ace of Spades, such a strong album. But you were gonna add a comment there.
I don't even know where I was going with that, but yeah. Oh, what about the I guess the work that Fast Eddie, being that we just lost him, did with Fastway? Were you a big fan of that stuff? I mean, Eddie Kramer produced those first two Fastway records. I thought that stuff was so brilliant, and in the passing that we just had of Fast Eddie Clarke, I've heard some people mention Fastway, but still, it's mostly, again, just people talking about his time with Motörhead.
Yeah, I mean, Fastway is one of those bands that were more on the outside for me. I knew a couple of tracks, not never really delved into it, but at the time that stuff came out, I was more into what was going on in North America. My sort of love for European metal and European rock developed in the late 90s, way past all these releases. So, you know, when you look at the brand Motorhead versus Fastway, obviously people are going to go straight to Motorhead first because
Right.
that's the marquee name, and Fastway, for all the great music they did, they never did an Ace of Spades. They might
Yeah.
have in theory, in terms of musical quality, or right, maybe, but in the hearts of fans, they never did an Ace of Spades. And
Yeah.
so, and that association with Lemmy is also tough to beat, right? I mean, and again, I'll use the Kiss analogy, that when the day comes that Ace Frehley passes away, they're not going to talk about the comet.
Yeah. That's true.
Right?
That's true.
They're going
Yeah.
to talk about Kiss.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then,
You broke some. Oh, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, yeah. On the flip side of that, on a lineup ending and a time and passing with his passing, I interviewed Phil Campbell recently.
Yes.
Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons' new album, Age of Absurdity, which I've heard. It's not out just yet, but I've heard it. It is fantastic. It really is fantastic. But I was talking to him, and I asked him a question about, Queen has gone on without Freddie Mercury, but and not to say gone on, but they've gone with Queen featuring Paul Rodgers, Queen featuring Adam Lambert. Would you consider doing a Motörhead featuring, and I picked out of the blues randomly James Hetfield and Dave Grohl, which
right,
I don't know,
sure.
two names
Makes
that
sense.
popped to mind. Well, when you think of those kinds of projects, Dave Grohl pops up quite a bit. I mean, at Foo Fighter shows, David Lee Roth will pop out and do a song.
Yeah.
Paul Stanley will pop. So I don't know. The name popped into head, and he said, "Yeah, sure, yeah. We're planning it." And I was like, "Excuse me."
Wow.
I was like, what? Excuse me? I was just sort of throwing that question out there to maybe put a bug in your ear and have you think about doing that next year. But so it appears as though Motörhead with Phil Campbell and Mickey D,
okay,
featuring guest vocalist, is something that's in the works. And
right.
I'm excited about that. I know that fans sometimes say, well, you should leave sleeping dogs lie and yada, yada, yada. But bringing the music to the people, I'm always a fan of. Hearing those Motörhead songs in concert again, big fan of. And as an added bonus, if you can get, and I don't know who the vocalists are going to be, but let's say they do get a James Hetfield. Okay.
Right.
How cool was it to hear him sing Ace of Spades or any of the songs? So I'm all in favor of it, but I got to say I was taken aback by the media coverage. I mean, in Canada, we have a daily in every city, the Calgary Sun, the Toronto Sun, the Ottawa Sun, all the dailies ran it. And then I started seeing dailies in Spain, and I started seeing my name on Japanese websites with all kinds of weird, lettering that I can't read, and then I started seeing Russian sites with Cyrillics and blah blah blah, blah Mitch Lafon, and you go, oh, okay. So that was really exciting. So that just goes to, but the point being is that, other than exciting for me, but the point is, I think it shows that fans really want this, and when the mainstream media is like, yeah, we want this, it just goes, yeah, okay, let's do this. Let's bring back Lemmy's memory.
It would, to me though, for something like that to work. I mean, you're mentioning two of the biggest names out there, James Hetfield, Dave Grohl. You're going to need people of that caliber for this to work. I can't see, and I mean, I'm trying to think of some lesser known names. If you have the guy from The Sword, I don't even know who, or even the guy from Mastodon or something like that out there fronting it. I don't think there's going to be the interest. I think that you would need, Dave Grohl.
It has to be
maybe a Phil Anselmo would. He and Dave Grohl actually did Ace of Spades at one of the Dime bashes.
It's got to be a big brand with a big brand. I mean, it's got to be the Clash of the Titans. You can't have the third singer of Quiet Riot in 1999. And I mean, no disrespect to that band, but it can't be some guy who's playing the ultimate jam night in California come up and sing these songs. You can't have. Yeah. And I don't want to start naming names because it sounds like I'll be disrespecting them, but you know what I mean. It can't be the third singer of a band that's on its 20th member. It has to be Dave Mustaine. It has to be James Hetfield. It has to be. It has to be a Paul Stanley, though. I can't think he'd be interested in that, but it has to be something like that, Bruce Dickinson kind of thing. It can't just be, Lemmy from, Schmo from Philadelphia.
Yeah, agree. And I don't know. I don't know if I could see Dave Grohl and James Hetfield going out and doing this as a tour. If they did, that would be absolutely amazing.
Well, but Phil said that it wouldn't be a tour. He said that nobody has time for a tour. He said that if and when we get this going, it would be select shows. So I could see them doing a New York, a Chicago, a London, a Paris, a Tokyo, and Dave had, what was his band? Not Crowbot, Probot, right?
Probot, yeah.
Probot, right?
Where Lemmy played something about your blood Drain Your Blood or something. Yeah, Lemmy had a great song on that record.
Yeah, and that record was great. That was a great heavy metal record. So Dave has the chops for it.
Yeah, sure.
James, of course, we know has the chops for it. So, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it'll happen.
Yeah.
But it's got to be big names. You think Joey Belladonna of Anthrax is a big enough name to do something like that? I mean, to us he is, but to the general public?
Yeah, I think if it were, if you had him and Biff from Saxon, and you had, a team of name people, yes, I think that would, especially for one-off concerts in major markets, I would say yes.
That's tough with me with Biff, because you and I know Biff. We like Biff. We love Saxon. We're in the metal community.
Right.
I'm not sure if you're Mr., every average day man and you see Motörhead coming with Biff, you get excited. I think if you see with the Foo Fighters guy, you go, oh, I gotta go check that. Yeah.
I think if it were Biff along with, 3 or 4 other names that it could work. But
I mean, no disrespect to Biff, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Biff Byford, yeah. Who's coming to a wonderful Ottawa, Canada on March 25th. I can't wait to see that with Judas Priest.
Yeah.
So let's put that out there, first of all, to the fans that in the comments section. Do you want to see this concert happen in the first place? I mean, is this something that interests you? And then who would be sort of your, let's say, top 3 choices for singers? Because it's not going to be just one guy doing 15 shows. It's going to have to be a team of different vocalists. And so who, are we talking Phil Anselmo, Dave Mustaine, James Hetfield, who else is out there? Biff, Ricky Warwick of Black Star. I mean, who do you want to see?
He could work, but again, does he have the marquee name? Yeah.
Oh, he absolutely, voice-wise, performance-wise, he's on the money. I just don't know if at the Beacon Theater in New York or whatever, if you say, hey, Motörhead is back with him, I mean, I'd be there because I love everything he does, but anyway, so let's ask the fans. So give us your sort of top 3 singers that you would like to see do this. And of course, pay respect to Eddie as well. Give us a little memory of Fast Eddie Clarke and what he meant to you and so on and so forth. So there we go.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fast Eddie Clarke, rest in peace.
And Mark, where can folks find you online?
TalkingRock.net. I'm also on Facebook and, of course, Twitter and Instagram as Talking Metal. So, yeah, just Google Mark Striegel and or Talking Metal. You'll find me.
There you go.
How about you?
I like the Twitter. So, at Mitch Lafon, MITCHLAFON on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram and on Facebook. But, if you ever need to find me, just Google. It's such a wonderful little device.
Definitely. And we do post all your content, whether it's a podcast, a YouTube show, in the Mitch Lafon section on talkingrock.net. So if anyone wants just one place to go to get all these great video shows and podcasts and stuff that Mitch is putting out, we do have that all organized into one section on talkingrock.net.
Honestly, and I've got some great interviews coming up for you.
Yeah.
I
want to hear this Bruce Dickinson one.
Yeah, I got Dickinson, and I've got Pantera, and I've got Anvil, and John 5. John 5 was great. I mean, just
cool.
Such a great chat. And then I have one which is totally out of left field, Jim Kerr of Simple Minds. And
oh, wow.
He was just, again, absolutely fantastic. And their new album, listen, it's not rock, it's not metal, it's sort of that dancey Duran-Duran-y kind of thing. It's a fun album.
Good.
It's a fun album.
Cool.
So there you go.
Awesome.
A lot of great content, not just metal.
Excellent. Talk to you next time.
Cheers.